Hey, my name is Wayman, and this is Junkie Logic. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Serenity Prayer. I guess I kind of heard about it because before I started going to meetings, AA meetings, NA meetings, and other types of meetings, I would hear the Serenity Prayer. And now I learned that whenever I'm feeling frustrated now, I don't have to call my sponsor every single time, but I will say the Serenity Prayer. And it goes like this. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And that's a real simple prayer that you can use. And a lot of people say the 12-step programs are faith-based, and they are, but that is kind of a misnomer because it makes you think that it's a Christian or maybe Muslim thing or whatever. It is a spiritual program because we find we're spiritually broken people. And what that means is, what they stress about in most of the meetings I've been to is finding a power greater than yourself. So, just you and your other group members, the group conscience can be your higher power. And I think we follow the natural logic and the group conscience of our families. And I think that's the most spiritual a lot of us might get sometimes. And, spirituality is something that I didn't have before I became an addict. I was lucky to become an addict because although I felt like I had accomplished something before I had to go and find treatment, I didn't realize how many character defects I had, and just like how my moral compass was a little bit skewed. I wasn't as honest as I would tell other people I was. I was authentic, but I wasn't honest. And there's a difference. I tried to always come through very authentic, and you can trick people if you're 95% honest. That other 5% of the time is lies, and you're just saying, oh, it's okay to have a white lie, it's okay. It's really not. There are some instances where white lies get us through something we might not want to explain, but I'm talking about being honest with yourself. It's a real problem, is not knowing exactly who you are, and not knowing exactly if what you're doing is 100% honest, because until I came to the program and went through recovery through the VA, I was spiritually broken by that point, but I was a heroin junkie. So coming back from that, it was a relief to find out how easy life could be once I admitted the scumbag stuff, all that. Being an addict lets you go down roads like, I heard this said, being a heroin addict, you'll do almost anything to get heroin. Being a meth addict, you'll do crazy shit for anything. So sometimes I feel lucky because I know alcoholics, meth addicts, coke and crack addicts. I know all kinds of addictions, and I always felt unique. And what the thing was is it didn't really matter what your addiction is. It's the fact that you fell into it because of some reason. Those are just symptoms. Your addiction is just a symptom of a greater disease, something that might be broken or something that you never really found out about and you just ignored, and it came back to rear its ugly head. So I guess I just wanted to express that today. There's been a lot of crap going on with my family and some really sad stuff. And I just want to express to anybody that might be going through any of this, like, you're not a bad person. You might have done some bad shit, but there's nothing you can't get past. I mean, in some rare occurrences there are, but we all come into rehab and the rooms of the fellowship by thinking our story's unique, and it's really not. When I talk now to people, and when I talk to anybody else I just see out and about, I know they've been through some stuff. We've all been through some stuff, some more than others. But I'm real sympathetic towards it. But, you know, we can't help how we were raised when we were 8, 9, 10. Like, it's not our fault. But it is our responsibility to take care of it. Like, nobody else is coming. Nobody cares like you care about you. Maybe you're lucky and you have a good friend. Thank God for that, right? Or thank Zeus or whoever. But, you know, it's okay. It's not that complicated. It's really simple. They say it's a simple program for complicated people. Spiritually broken people. People that don't have anybody to talk to about this stuff because they don't think that anybody suffers from this, or they don't understand how many people do suffer from it, but they just meet at different meetings around the world, online even. And this stuff is talked about every day. There are people that talk about the craziest shit every single day, and you're missing out. You're keeping it to yourself because you don't think anybody else has gone through what you've gone through. I guarantee you, people have your problems. It's not that unique. I just met somebody that, you know, their significant other is the town sheriff, and they can't believe like what happened, and they're so embarrassed. And yeah, that stuff happens. I was really embarrassed when I first went to jail for possession, and you know, my picture was on the sheriff's website, and oh God, like it was the end of the world, right? Like, nobody cares really, and even if they do, they probably care for the right reasons. And here's the thing, like, those pictures don't stay up there forever. They get buried every day by a new story, a new person. Like, you know, my sponsor had to tell me to stop being such a narcissist. Nobody cares about you. He's like, are you the person that when you go into a room you think everyone's whispering about you? He's like, don't you? And I was like, yeah, actually, kind of. He's like, yeah, nobody's talking about you. That's just your perception. And, you know, our reality can get a little skewed. Everybody's living in their own dream, or, like I like to say, their own delusion. So, everybody, I don't care who you are, you have your own story that you've narrated. And, you know, how close to reality it is depends on who you talk to. Like, there's always 3 stories for any situation. There's the other person's story, there's your story, and then there's the base reality. And all 3 of them are usually different. Like, what I strive for now is to see how close I can get to it, because, like, no matter what you do, you're going to see things a little bit different. It really depends on your state, like any situation. We all have thoughts and emotions. And you never know what somebody around you is going through, because a lot of people are living their own world. They're in their own world, and they never let anybody else see, right? Everybody's real afraid to show people who they are. And I get that. I had a lot of fears about stuff. Or I had things that I didn't really think anybody cared about. That's why I didn't talk about a lot of my stuff. I didn't think anybody gave a shit about what I was going through. And the funny thing is the people that cared the most were in the one place I wasn't willing to go, because I didn't think I needed help. I didn't think I had a problem until I did, until it required me going to the emergency room. So, there's some junky logic for you right there. Take care of everything you got going on now. If you're not an addict, if you know an addict, go to an Al-Anon meeting. That's what those are for. Family members and friends of loved ones. If you do have an issue, like, anybody would benefit from going to a meeting, and the only requirement for membership is a desire to stop using drugs or alcohol, right? So if you have any type of desire to do less of that or not do so much of it in the future, you can go, and you could learn a lot by listening to people, by opening up and sharing. I found my voice in going to over 1,000 meetings now, probably. And it's one of the most beneficial things. It's what they started it for in 1939 was, one addict helping another. One alcoholic can relate with another. There's not too many things I can do as a recovering addict or alcoholic, but I can help somebody who's suffering. And it's not likely that if I talk to you, because you're going through problems, that you're going to all of a sudden quit drugs and alcohol and lead this great life. That's not what happens. One of my jobs, one of my hobbies or avocations, they call it, is if somebody reaches out for help, I'm there. I give my number out to other addicts and alcoholics. And if they call because they got drunk or they're going through a crisis, they can call me and talk to me, because, I've got 15 months clean and sober. And I thought I did a lot of great things in this life. I've been in the Navy. I have degrees in this and that. And but that none of that really. I have a family, and that I have kids, right? I don't have a whole family unit anymore, but I have children, and that's the greatest thing I did. But the greatest personal achievement I've done is recovered from drugs and alcohol. I will never see anything else I've ever done as being better. And I bet most alcoholics and addicts that have recovered from this will tell you the same. Like, it was a spiritual experience. I am not the same person I was 5 years ago when I started this. And you'll notice I said I had 15 months clean and sober. I didn't say 5 years clean and sober, because 5 years ago when I started this journey, I went to rehab for 6 months, got some charges dropped, and decided I was going to relapse and go through the whole thing again. And then even after those 6 months, I relapsed and did it again. And so that last run was almost 2 years long before I came back in October 10th of 2023. And this, I did a lot of things this time because I'm so hard-headed, and I won't take suggestion, or I wouldn't. I do now. I did a lot of things right that I didn't do the first 2 times. Like, instead of just going to meetings, I read the book. I got a sponsor. I opened up. I went to meetings before the meeting started, and I stayed after the meeting ended. I had hard conversations with people. I did try and go make a bunch of amends and try to apologize to a lot of people. I realized right away that it was too early, that people aren't ready for that yet. Just because I'm ready doesn't mean they're ready. So what I learned was I had to forgive myself for a lot of things I did. And I did apologize to some people for some things I had done. I had thanked some people. I have a very special friend that, she had to trick me and she brought me to jail. I had a warrant and I was running away from it 5 years ago. And she tricked me and gave me a ride. And she gave me a ride to the police station. And thank God she did, because I was close to accidentally unaliving myself because I was just an idiot and I was so hopeless. I used so hard. I was just so, instead of like opening up and talking to somebody about my problems, I'd rather use, right? Like I isolated. And man, I'm so lucky. I have had a spiritual experience doing the steps. 12-step programs, they say faith-based, but that doesn't mean the normal religious faith. It just means you find some spiritual principles and you find a moral compass and you do the right thing now. So instead of hiding, I seek stuff out and I root it out. And I take care of stuff now, and I take care of my bills, and I talk to my children, and I make sure everything's going okay. And it's not perfect. Not everything gets great. I had a really hard week, and it's sometimes it's hard to talk about it. And especially since, I've been clean this long, like some people look up to me and like, it's hard to tell them that I'm having a bad day. And like, I have done some good things. I've finally figured it out. Instead of like doing everything myself, I had to learn how to lean on other people. And I can do that quite well now. I still have issues with it. Like I'm still prideful. My ego will get the best of me. Like every day I have to remind myself. That's why I start every morning with a meditation from the Waking Up app. Like it really helps me set my day. If I don't do that, my day isn't the same. And I start my day off with 10 minutes of silence, basically sitting still. It's not like you have to do some special, occultist meditation to get in touch with the cosmic center of the universe. You just have to sit still and listen to yourself, and you will be surprised at the awareness that gives you. Just like taking 5 minutes and taking like a timeout and listening to the sound of silence and working on your breath work, like just breathing and getting a little healthier. Like I have been eating a little bit lately. It's been getting cold even out west here where I'm at. And I can feel the isolation starting in. Like some days I don't want to go to meetings, but I do. So I just wanted to say, if you're struggling, whatever, that's fine. But what you need to do is stop. Take a second and stop. Stop doing all these things you think are important and like get the cheat code to life. Okay? Thanks for listening. Junkie Logic out.